I started riding, I guess when I was about 16, so that would have been more than 50 years ago, we'll say, and that would have been about 1966. My friend and I had a AT1 Yamaha 125 that we put a 175 cylinder on. My love was, doing things like Grand Prix, which are a mixture of pavement, motocross tracks backwards, and they last about an hour and a half, so I could endure that. Motocross, I didn't feel like, I really wanted to break my legs and things like that and not be able to work. It's taken me, I've rode some of the qualifiers back in the day. I wasn't competitive, but it was fun to ride the same territory as people like Malcolm Smith and like that had ridden in the same thing. One of the events was over at Bad Rock, which is out of Weston Athena in northeastern Oregon, and in that race they also had Malcolm Smith, and then there was this kind of aloof fellow that I kept looking at him. He had his helmet on, but I thought, I know that face from somewhere, and sure enough it was Steve McQueen. And in the crowd, his wife, that I think was Allie McGraw, and she had on like a bandana, so she looked very, just like a plain everyday lady, and of course everybody said, don't say anything because he's just here to escape, Hollywood basically. Well, I just like to rip around in dirt, and as an adult you look kind of silly just running through mud puddles, so a motorcycle gives you an excuse to tear out through the dirt and that. It's kind of fun, you don't have to worry so much about cars and things. I rode all kinds of bikes before Huskies. I rode Hondas and Suzukis and different Bultacos and things like this, but I finally saved enough money in '76. I bought my first Husky, which was a 360 wide ratio, decked out like a Dick Burleson replica. And I learned that, it was kind of frightening at first, but then you realize there is so much tractable power with the Husky that it's very predictable to ride. It doesn't just explode the power onto you. So I rode the 360, and I would keep it up and maintain it and that. So I took a kind of leave of absence from motorcycle racing when the boys were born. But as I got older and older, I thought, I sure wish I had another 360 or something like that, because I always liked Huskies. And I found this Husky over my shoulder on Craigslist, and it was a basket case, and it took me a little while, and I met a fellow, and I'm not going to mention his name because he really doesn't want people to drive him crazy, but he gave me great guidance. He has enough parts. Probably 5 dealerships wouldn't have as many parts as he has for the old Huskies. So I got that one together, and I went to work for him also, helping restore old Huskies. And then he said, I've got this one in the corner I want to show you. It's not this one, it's the other one, the 76. And it's like my 360, only it's a 250. But I find nowadays that's plenty of power. I don't know how I would do with my old 360 now. I started wrenching probably when I was about 9 or 10 on lawnmower engines. And once I get into motorcycle, we couldn't, back in the day, we couldn't afford a mechanic. So you learned how to do your own things. And of course with the 2-stroke, fairly simple to do top ends and things like this. And eventually, I would do all my own, and then I went to work for a Honda shop in about '78. And so I worked on Hondas and all kinds of things. New riders, start off easy, find some good soft mud and dirt like that, and get a bike that isn't too powerful, and learn to ride it to its full potential. Learn how to lay them down, how to take a fall, and all these things, because if you ever transition over to street bikes, that will come in very handy. If you know how to lay a bike down or jump a curb instead of hitting a car or something like that. And as you get better, just keep moving up a little bit at a time. One of the most common mistakes with early riders is they buy a big fast bike and immediately think they're going to be a pro racer and end up really hurting themselves. Favorite part of riding is just getting away from it all. And you see a lot of things. I like to ride out in nature, and you be respectful. You don't cut new trails. You don't chase animals or anything like that. But you see more things than you can imagine. I was riding one time and there was a little red-tailed fox right in front of me. I've had coyotes run right alongside of me. When I had a trials bike, I rode right up on some deer until I turned it off, and then they went away.